Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Evening News for today, Wednesday, February 28, 2024. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for tuning in. In the headlines this evening, Guyana Shield project is priority for Brazil, says President Lula. President Lula critical to ensuring regional stability, says President Ali. Government distributes 10 million in steel and cement subsidies in Region 6. Teachers strike, AG hints at pay cuts when government wins court cases. Paddy bug worm infestation affecting CORENTYNE rice farmers, and Port Kaituma businessman busted with gun, ammo, and ganja. Now for the news in detail. The Guyana Shield, which will see Brazil increasing its infrastructural connections with countries like Guyana and consequently its linkages with the Caribbean region, is very much a priority for the Brazilian government. This is according to Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who is in Guyana for an official visit. Here is Gerald Bryan with our lead story.
On Wednesday, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva addressed regional leaders who are in Guyana for the 46th CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, during which he laid out Brazil's priorities, particularly when it comes to Guyana, the Guyana Shield, and the Caribbean.
My friends, my dear sisters and brothers.
Ouvi da primeira-ministra Mia Mottley que Barbados tem 27 voos semanais para o Reino Unido e para os Estados Unidos e nenhum para o Brasil.
I heard from Prime Minister Mia Mottley that Barbados has 27 weekly flights to UK and the US, but none to Brazil.
Portanto, o nosso maior obstáculo é a falta de conexões, seja por terra, por mar e pelo ar.
Our biggest obstacle is the lack of connections, whether by land, sea, or air.
The Brazilian president spoke of the Guyana Shield, which includes Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana, and described it as a priority for his government. For years, there have been talks and works done at the technical level to forge closer energy, economic, security, and logistical ties between these countries. According to President Lula, focusing on the Guyana Shield will help Brazil make a positive impact on food security in the region.
One of the priority integration and development routes for my government is the Guyanese Shield, which covers Guyana, Suriname, and Venezuela.
Queremos literalmente pavimentar nosso caminho para o Caribe.
We literally want to pave our way to the Caribbean.
Abriremos corredores capazes de suprir as demandas de abastecimento e fortalecer a segurança alimentar da região.
We will open corridors capable of meeting supply demands and strengthening food security in the region.
Meanwhile, President Ali, who was seated next to Lula in his capacity as chairman of CARICOM and host of the heads of government, spoke of ways closer regional ties can be promoted with Brazil. One such way is food security, with President Ali noting that Brazil can provide the region with invaluable lessons, while there will also be numerous investment opportunities.
Food and nutrition security. CARICOM has embarked on the 25 by 2025 initiative, with a goal of reducing the region's food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. We are confident that there are many avenues in which we can collaborate with Brazil and invaluable lessons we can learn to maximize our agriculture and food production and our economic development. The opportunities for investment are also not to be underestimated.
Today is the final day of the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, which saw the participation of the CARICOM heads, as well as foreign dignitaries from outside the region and heads of multinational institutions. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Here is Gerald Bryan once again, this time to report that President Dr. Irfan Ali has described his Brazilian counterpart, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, as having a critical role in the maintenance of regional stability.
Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva arrived in Guyana on Wednesday for talks with CARICOM heads of government. When asked by reporters at the Marriott Hotel, President Dr. Irfan Ali, who is chairing CARICOM, emphasized President Lula's importance to the region.
I see President Lula's role in the region as critical. He has, I think, great responsibility on his shoulders to provide regional leadership. He has already been doing so. He has reached out to both Guyana and Venezuela. He has ensured that Brazil participated in the initiative, the Argyle initiative, led by CARICOM. He is a stabling voice, a voice of reason, and I think that his role is as all others to ensure that peace and stability remains and to ensure that all parties abide and act in the confines of international law.
President Ali also spoke about the work done over the past few days during the 46th regular meeting of the Conference of the Heads of Government of CARICOM. According to the head of state, these are discussions that must move the region closer towards integration.
That contribute to the development of this region, contribute to the maintenance of peace and stability in this region, and work towards a situation where the region is highly integrated and we resolve issues and we work together on the transformation of our people through investment in education, health, but more importantly, I think we have a responsibility to integrate the region through infrastructure investment and to look at issues of food security and energy security and climate and find common ground and common solution through which we can work together.
President Lula was instrumental in arranging the December 14, 2023 meeting between President Ali and Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at the height of border tensions last year. Following that meeting, President Ali and Maduro had also agreed to meet again in Brazil within the next 3 months to further discussions. Joe O'Brien, The Evening News.
Here now is Vanu Manichand, who reports that the Guyana government is reiterating that the 2 plots of land that were given to the Qatari investors for the development of the US $300 million hotel on Carfesta Avenue belong to the state and not City Hall.
Is the government's land or the state's land. The plans and all the other archival materials are there to establish beyond doubt that the land is owned by the state, that portion of land.
That was Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlal asserting the state's ownership of the 2 plots of land earmarked for the Qatari hotel. Last week, the Guyana government, along with Qatari investors, turned the sod for the construction to start on the massive hotel project. However, there have been contentions on the ownership of the lands, with the Georgetown Mayor and City Council claiming ownership, something which the Attorney General debunked.
That very ground where the turning of the sod ceremony was held, it used to be occupied by the Guyana Softball Association. Guyana Softball Association was occupying that ground upon a permission or a license granted to them by the Ministry of Education, because the Ministry of Education was the lessee of that land. All those things have expired. And once the Ministry of Education is a lessee, it was a lessee from the government. It's the government's land or the state's land.
On this note, Nandlal welcomed any move by the City Hall to have this dispute settled in the courts.
The mayor is saying that he would like to go to court. Well, I am happy that he's planning to go to court, because that is where the issue should be resolved. If he believes that he has a claim, let him go to court and establish ownership. The land that the City Council owns, having been gifted it from a man named Quinton Hogg, is a different piece of land. And all the City Council has to do is to well, read the transport. But the land in question, our own lands in question, are owned by the state, not the Georgetown Mayor and City Council.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
Some 130 persons in Region 6 on Wednesday received their steel or cement as they prepared to construct their new homes. In this Andrew Carmichael report, you will also hear that hundreds of house lot applications are still pending in the region.
Of the 130 vouchers distributed on Wednesday, 90 were handed out at the Regional Democratic Council, while the others were distributed at Bushlot Farm, Wellington Park, and Eversham. The steel and cement subsidies an initiative of President Dr. Irfan Ali to provide the necessary assistance to persons who are now building homes for the first time.
And the intention of that program is to help, as part of an initiative, to push the drive for persons to commence the process for the construction of their houses. You go around in many communities, you see vacant lots. Our new housing scheme, sometimes we allocate and then persons have not built. And this is one way we are pushing this initiative.
1,144 persons have benefited from the steel and cement subsidy, of which 270 are from Region 6. However, the PPP in its manifesto promised to make available 10,000 house lots annually during its 5-year term in office, but the steel and cement subsidies are in addition to what it had promised. To date, some 200 houses have been constructed in Region 6 since the party took office, and according to Minister Kroll, the government has injected $11.3 billion in this initiative.
That means creation of employment, purchase of materials for the construction, and spin-off benefits for persons in the transportation sector, spin-off benefit for persons who are even selling refreshments or snacks for areas, those persons who are working within the area. A whole host of spin-off. And our next venture now moves to, when you come across the bridge, right in front of you, you see a lot of land preparation happening, and that is for Palmyra, because we will be commencing the construction of another category of house, and that is for young professionals.
At Palmyra, a whopping $1.2 billion is being spent on infrastructure development, while at the regional level, the Housing Ministry has spent $25.4 billion. Of that figure, $14 billion has been spent to open up new housing schemes at numbers 75, 76, and 79 villages, as well as Hampshire, Ordnance, and Palmyra.
And I'm not including water, I'm just speaking specifically on housing. But when you look at the crowd downstairs, you realize even with all of that resources being injected to make house lots available, make home ownership for you complete, it's not enough.
Meanwhile, there are about 5,000 pending applications for house lots in Region 6. But Minister Kroll explained that with the high demand for agricultural land, new lands for housing development is challenging. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Let's now tell you that 35-year-old Andrew Williams, a businessman of Port Kaituma, Northwest District, and also of William Street, Kitty, Georgetown, was arrested on Tuesday evening with an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. In addition, he had 299.7 grams of ganja. Between 19 hours 5 and 19 hours 50 on the day in question, police rank searched the home of Williams at Train Line Port Kaituma, during which one 9mm pistol, along with one magazine containing 6 live rounds of matching ammunition, and a quantity of cannabis were found. Williams, when questioned by the ranks, remained silent. He was subsequently arrested and taken to the Port Kaituma police station, where the ganja was weighed and amounted to 299.7 grams. He is expected to be charged soon. Coming up on the other side of the break, teacher strike, AG hints at pay cuts when government wins court cases, and CARICOM mediation between Guyana and Venezuela a blueprint for world, says PM Skerrett. More news at the end of this short break.
Transitions light intelligent lenses. Pick your color. Choose your style. Available at Optique Vision Care.
Guyana's agriculture sector is receiving tremendous support from oil companies to aid its expansion. Investment from oil companies in cutting-edge technology is increasing and improving Guyana's agricultural output. SBM Offshore Guyana and ExxonMobil Guyana Limited support two of the largest hydroponics farms in the country. Their support not only creates employment for Guyanese, but also helps CARICOM to reduce its food import bill by 25% by 20.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. UCLA, the company behind Speed Test, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringban, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. The amicable way in which the region was able to broker peace between Guyana and Venezuela could serve as a global template for resolving tensions around the world. This is according to former CARICOM chairman Dominica Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, as he officially passed on the baton to President Dr. Irfan Ali. Gerald Bryan reports.
The opening ceremony for the 46th regular meeting of the Conference of the Heads of Government of CARICOM witnessed the figurative passing of a baton from former CARICOM chairman Dominica Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit to President Dr. Irfan Ali. Reflecting on his chairmanship, Skerrit noted how CARICOM was able to broker the Argyle Agreement between Guyana and Venezuela back in December.
I began this address by speaking of my immense pride. I did so with memories still fresh of what we achieved as a group when we met as a family in December in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to maturely address the tensions between our two brothers. We made international news, not for unrest, war, or violence, but for a hosting of mature, proactive deliberations that created a template that others in the world would do well to follow. It is therefore fitting that with a strong sense of pride in our accomplishments, I pass the baton to His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali, President of Guyana, and assure him of my unstinting support and cooperation.
Skerrit also reflected on the other strides CARICOM took last year on the international relations front.
On the international relations front, we deepened engagement with international partners and secured crucial support for our development priorities. But I want to especially single out the success of the first CARICOM Saudi Arabia Summit held in Saudi Arabia in November of last year. The summit focused heavily on investment opportunities, with Saudi Arabia pledging to bolster our infrastructure, renewable energy, tourism, and agriculture sectors.
He also recalled the steps taken towards food security, such as the introduction of new crops in the region and closer collaboration between regional agriculture producers. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlal is warning teachers who have been on strike for 4 weeks now that their salaries will be cut once the government wins the court proceedings filed by the Guyana Teachers Union. Let's have a look.
The Guyana Teachers Union has filed court proceedings to block the government from cutting the salaries of those teachers who have been on strike since February 5, and also to reverse the Education Ministry's decision to stop deducting union fees from teachers' salaries. Last week, the High Court granted conservatory orders for the government to continue paying teachers and offering the agency service to unions. However, Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandal has explained that these are only temporary reliefs.
The impression was conveyed that these orders were permanent and that the case is concluded and that therefore the government is permanently restrained from deducting salaries from teachers and from stopping its decision to deduct union dues. That impression apparently was conveyed, and the teachers apparently were ill-advised that the case is completed and that they can continue to stay away from work and that they will be paid. And the union obviously misled itself into believing that it will continue to get union dues. Well, the orders of the judge were temporary, as I said. They were interim.
Confident that the government will be successful in court, the Attorney General has warned that the salaries of those teachers on strike will be deducted once those interim orders are discharged.
I hope that teachers understand that these monies at some point in time will be deducted. Of course, the court order in its current form restrains actions to be taken in this regard. So there will not be no deduction now. The court order will be complied with. But once that court order is lifted, and it will be lifted because that is the law, once that injunction or conservatory order is discharged, the deductions are going to be made. And by that time, you would have an accumulated amount of deductions because the days are adding up.
In the meantime, instructions were given on Tuesday to ensure that the absence of teachers are documented.
The Ministry of Education sent out a circular to remind education administrators across the region to continue to document absences from work pursuant to the strike action, so that a proper record is being kept, so that at the appropriate time the deductions will be made.
The court proceedings will come up for hearing on March 20. However, it was reported that following the circular that was issued by the Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein to the various regional educational officers, he was summoned by the presiding judge, Sandil Kisoon. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manik-Chand.
Meanwhile, Chief Education Officer Saddam Hussein appeared before Justice Sandil Kisoon on Wednesday to answer contempt of court proceedings. Hussein reportedly told the court that it was never his intention to disrespect the court, that the Ministry of Education has no intention of cutting striking teachers' salaries, and that the memo in this regard will be rescinded. Hussein held out that he should have properly consulted with the Attorney General before issuing the memorandum to the officers within the 11 education districts. Justice Sandil Kisoon has reportedly found Hussein guilty of willful disobedience and disregard of the court's conservatory orders in the legal challenge brought by the Guyana Teachers Union. The Menstrual Hygiene Initiative, which is the brainchild of First Lady Arya Ali, has allowed more than 32,000 school-age girls in Guyana to have access to free sanitary napkins as part of the overall aim of eliminating period poverty. This year, the initiative will be expanded to cater for women in vulnerable communities.
This announcement to expand the Menstrual Hygiene Initiative was made by First Lady Arya Ali during a presentation at the Umanayana Georgetown, where she engaged the First Ladies of St. Kitts and Nevis Danny, Prince Drew, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Elise Gonzalez, and the Bahamas, Anne Marie Davis. During her address, the First Lady noted that the initiative will establish Guyana as a leader in gender equality on a worldwide scale. On this point, she acknowledged that there is still a lot of work ahead of her and lobbied for support for the expansion of the program.
Investing in good menstrual hygiene management to enable women and girls to reach their full potential is a critical measure to build a nation's human capital over time. Our attention is shifting to providing coverage for women, beginning with those in highly vulnerable situations like those in institutional care. My aim is to gradually expand coverage as more funding becomes available so that we are able to eventually provide full coverage to every woman and girl in Guyana.
Meanwhile, Education Minister Priya Manik-Chan lauded the initiative, which she posited is well thought out and seeks to reduce gender bias against women and girls. The government will continue to support them. The minister also contended that the impact a girl's menstrual cycle plays in her daily activities must be understood.
Here is a young woman who used her platform to do remarkable good for large numbers of persons all across this country. This has brought us this universal application of delivering sanitary products, both by the government and partners, all inspired by the First Lady and her work, has brought us to a place where Guyana, I hope, will see a new generation of persons, one, talking about the issue of menstruation openly, two, acknowledging what the consequences of menstruation are, and three, addressing those sensibly.
Earlier this month, the Menstrual Hygiene Initiative received a boost when Sinok Petroleum Guyana Limited donated $10 million worth of sanitary pads. The United Nations Populated Fund, China's ambassador to Guyana, Guo Haiyan, and other sponsors assisted with providing these much-needed products to schoolgirls. This guarantees a better education and livelihood for these girls. Lawanda McAllister, The Evening News.
An infestation of paddy bug that is commonly called GANJA is severely affecting rice farmers along the Corentyne coast. Andrew Carmichael reports that it is not only the bugs that are troubling the Corentyne rice farmers.
Apart from the paddy bugs, there is also a worm attacking the budding rice plant. Two of the more affected areas are Crabwood Creek and the central Corentyne, with farmers claiming that the infestation will severely impact the quality and quantity of rice they produce. Anthony Passad currently has 20 acres of rice on the cultivation at Crabwood Creek and is frustrated by the situation.
The GANJA, enough GANJA. We spray about 8 times done. And the yellow rice is still get GANJA. When you go in the morning, the paddy bug will fly off on your face and things. So much of GANJA. There. Majority farmers at Crabwood Creek, GANJA eat out them rice there. That's the first section in Crabwood Creek. Plenty GANJA there. And the drugs like you now walk and GANJA drink all the drugs, and you can't use Plonto because the mill of them now want the Plonto paddy. The paddy was sprayed Plonto.
Addressing the issue of paddy bug infestation, a former extension officer attached to the Guyana Rice Development Board, GRDB, Ramlagan Singh, who is also a farmer, pointed out that many farmers have reported the bug infestation. He noted that some farmers suffered about 20% destruction to their grain, and in some cases their paddy are sold to the mill. T. Walker Pargo, a Crabwood Creek farmer, sprayed his 120 acre of rice 12 times, but he suffered an 18% loss when he sold his paddy. Nevertheless, Singh noted that the GRDB held several outreaches where officials engaged farmers in the past week. In fact, Acting General Manager of the GRDB, Kuldip Ragnath, was among those who visited the Corentyne rice farmers. Meetings were held along the central Corentyne, Blackbush Polder, and Crabwood Creek. During the outreaches, it was brought to the attention of the GRDB officials that worms have also been feeding on the budding rice grain. This causes the plant to wilt and as the larvae moves through the stems. Prasad, who also has 12 acres of rice under cultivation at number 50 at Village, stated that he too is affected by the worms.
There's a worm in this leaf here, and it's kind of hard for that. You spray 2-3 times, you gotta spray, and the drugs really can't get in because this leaf here full, and the drugs just run off here, you not really get in. So I spray in my field, I spray like 2-3 times on. If you watch this worm, I move, watch. There's a living worm there. A lot of farmers he take over it, them feel the damage. If you watch over there, you will see them feel damage. Watch me land get them slide there. I spray 2-3 times with them systematic drugs. He kind of help, but it take 2 to 3 days and sometimes more, and all not dead.
In addition, Singh related that the worms have affected his 9-acre plot. However, he noted that the GRDB has advised farmers to spray with a prescribed insecticide.
That may able to reduce the attack of this this worm, which is in the leaf fold up, and we don't know what will be the results of those field attack. But a lot of people are complaining about it, and you may see in all this section from 58 going down to 55 in it.
For the evening news, Andrew Carmichael.
LaShawn Javon Crawford, 22, of Haslington South, East Coast, Demerara, was on Monday remanded to prison on robbery under armed charges. He appeared before Senior Magistrate Fabio Azor at the Vigilance Magistrates Court, where the charges were read to him. Police stated that on February 22, 2024, at Enmore, East Coast, Demerara, he robbed Wizu Chen and Shanti Mohan. However, he pleaded not guilty to the charges and has been remanded to prison until March 26, 2024. The matter has been transferred to the Coven John Magistrates Court. And now for a look at the bridge report.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Thursday, February 29th, 2024 at 4 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 6 hours 35 on Thursday, February 29th, 2024, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
Wendy's Championships, Sinclair talks about maiden century, Harpy Eagles win. This and more coming up in the Sportcast, sponsored by MacCorp.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
Mechanics, Sylvie's has all the equipment you need to make your job easier and your business profitable. Visit our 31 High and Hatfield Street store and choose from our wide array of shop presses, engine hoists, oil drain pans, parts washers, jack stands, bottle and floor jacks, hand tools, and much more. Can't make it to the store? Shop online at sylviesonline.com and have it delivered. Call or WhatsApp 623-7755 for more info.
It's a new day with Shilling Oil. A unique blend of natural oils to help ease and soothe the day-to-day discomforts of life. Get relief from muscle and joint pain, headaches, and congestion. Shilling Oil lets you get back to the things you love doing most. Water relief with Shilling Oil. Distributed by Massey Distribution.
experience more than award-winning speed. Way more. Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. UCLA, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the best mobile network in Guyana. With the best LTE experience and the fastest data speeds, experience it all with Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
In 2024, $240.1 billion from oil revenues will be channeled into the country's development. These funds will support the government's investment into infrastructural developments, welfare programs, and improvement in the people's standard of living.